Okay, this is the Peterbilt conventional cab. I've already built one of these before. This is it here. Painted this one blue, but I'm going to do this one a little different. On this one, I didn't use the fenders. On this one, I just used the mud flaps on the front and the back. On this one, I think I'm going to add the fenders on it. But this is the first look at it. So just taking it out of the box for the first time now. And in the box, we got the cab, a bag of white parts, the tires, the chrome pieces. Also on this one too, I think I'm going to paint, instead of just painting the frame black, like this one's painted black, I'm going to paint it gray. That would be this part here. I'm going to paint it gray color. And the cab itself is going to be popsicle orange. I decided I wanted it popsicle orange. I just think that's a good color on a truck. Also the chrome pieces, like the fuel tanks and stuff like that. The fuel tanks, maybe the air breather cover, this cover here. And the wheels. I think I'm going to strip the chrome off of it. I hadn't fully decided that yet, but I think I'm going to strip the chrome off of it and paint the wheels and paint the fuel tanks and then paint the straps a gray color as well, as the same color as the frame. I don't know, I'm still just trying to decide on that, but I have decided that I am going to do the frame gray, the cab popsicle orange. And so this is just getting started. And so I'm probably going to build up the frame, build up the engine, some of the other pieces like that. And while that's being done, I'm probably going to go ahead and paint the cab and the fenders. Because that, to put the paint on there really good and to put several coats on there, it's going to take 3 or 4 days for the paint to dry. So that may be one of the first things I do, so that way by the time I get ready for it, the paint will be good and dry. So painting the cab, the hood, and the fenders, probably going to be the first thing I do. Okay, I've started working on the REVELL Peterbilt, and anyway, it's pretty well straightforward. There's not a lot of pieces, and so this is the chassis. I've already glued the differentials on, the drive shaft from the rear differential to the front differential. I put the air tanks on, the large air tanks and the smaller air tanks under here. I put the front axle on, the drag links and the steering rod, and the crossbar for the exhaust and the one that goes up to the turbocharger. And I've glued the fenders onto the cab. So the cab is ready to paint. The chassis is ready to paint. I've got the engine put together. I didn't go step by step because this is so easy a kit to build. There's no point, in my opinion, to go step by step. But I got the engine put together. Now it comes to painting it. I got to decide what colors to use on the engine. Some of the places I'll be painting the hoses black. The oil filters I'll be painting them a different color than the engine, and some stuff like that. So I'm not necessarily going step by step, although you do need to go as close to it as you can. On the engine, I looked at it, and on this step it shows to put the head and the intake on after you get the engine into the truck. But I didn't really see an issue with that, so I went ahead and glued the head and the turbocharger and all those pieces on it. I got the two halves of the radiator glued together. I got the crossbar for the fifth wheel put on. I hadn't put the fan belt or the fan on yet because I'm going to paint them a different, it'd be easier to paint these with it off. I'm going to paint the belts black and the pulleys probably the same color as the engine. I haven't really decided what colors I'm going to do on the engine. I know there's a beige color that it suggests. You can, I like Caterpillar yellow, but this time I may go something a little different. I don't know, than the yellow or the beige. And so I still got to paint the interior, the dash, the steering wheel, all the wheel parts. The chrome wheel parts, I decided to de-chrome those. So I got those soaking in a solution of super clean to de-paint those, and I haven't checked those. I put them in last night, so it usually takes 2 or 3 days for that, so I haven't checked them to see if it's the chrome's coming off. If that doesn't work, then I'm gonna, this is my first time trying to de-chrome something, so if that don't work, I've seen that oven cleaner, easy off oven cleaner will work to take the chrome off. So my next step would be to paint this. Instead of painting this black, I think this time I'm going to paint it gray. And then I'll have to come back and paint the airbags black. The cab I'm going to paint popsicle orange. And the wheels, if they go according to plan, I'm going to paint them popsicle orange too as well. And the part that goes on top of the air cleaner, it was chrome too. I'm de-chroming it to paint it the same colors I do. This is going to get painted popsicle orange as well. So that's where I'm at now. Also, I discovered something working on other things that I had always been using Testors glue, and it's good glue, but it's kind of thick. And but I discovered this Tamiya super thin cement. I really like it. You can it brushes on, and it goes on real thin. You don't see a lot of glue coming out. It'll actually leach into places between parts, so you can actually put the pieces together too in some cases, and then glue it. You know. So anyway, that's where I'm at now. So I'll be painting this soon. I'm going to probably wait until a warmer day. It's kind of cool today, and it's going to be cool for the next couple of days. So probably going to wait for warmer days. And I'm going to, what I usually do with the paint, the spray paint, I'll put some hot water in a bucket, set the cans of paint down in the hot water to heat up the paint, because it seems like it goes on better if the paint's warm, you know. So anyway, I'm going to put several coats of, I'll put one thin coat of primer, and then several coats of the popsicle orange on the cab. This chassis, I'll probably just one coat it with one coat of gray. Okay, I'm getting ready to paint the chassis on the Peterbilt, and I got it hung up. I'm going to paint it. I might live to regret it, but I'm going to paint it with Rust-Oleum. It's got the primer and the paint together, so that's what I'm decided to do. So that's what I'm going with. So anyway, let me shake it up a little bit more. Okay, start at the top. I'm gonna go over this kind of real light to start with, and then come back and put another coat, because I don't want to end up with no runs. It's going to be much darker than that whenever I get through, but just trying to be careful not to get it too thick too quick. So after I get this on there, I'm going to let it sit here for about maybe an hour or so, and then come back and put another coat on it.
Well, then you have to leave the door open too.
Yeah, probably so.
So what are we doing?
Putting the second coat of paint on the popsicle orange. I'm probably going to put about 4 coats on it, because I'm not going to clear coat it. I found it. It can be a mistake sometimes. Okay, we got our chassis painted. I painted it, decided to go with gray, kind of a dark gray. And the engine, I decided I'd paint it John Deere green, even though John Deere's, you know, just being from Georgia, it's like John Deere green. And so, and then the interior, I did it just in light gray. The seats are black. And these are our chrome pieces that we left chrome. Our rear fenders, or front fenders that is, and are orange, popsicle orange. The rear fenders are black. And our truck cab, which I'm a little bit scared to touch it yet. I'm going to wait another day or two before I touch the cab, because I want to make sure the paint is just firm. It's dry, but I want it to be kind of hardened up some. But I decided I'd go with popsicle orange. I stripped the chrome off the wheels, and I painted those popsicle orange too. I hope that looks good. I won't know until I get it all together, but I think that'll look good matching. Now I'm going to pick up on the chassis. I'm going to be attaching the fuel tanks, and then after the fuel tanks, I'm going to turn over and see what other steps that I missed, which I think I'm good. The wheels come technically after I put the tanks on. I can mount the wheels, but I think I'm going to wait just a little bit longer and mount the wheels later on. The engine is put together, so I think that's probably going to be the next thing that I do, is attach the engine to the frame. Once I attach the engine to the frame, then I can put the drive shaft in and a few other little pieces. There's not a lot of parts to this model, and some of them are snapped together. It's a fairly easy build. So anyway, that's where I'm at now, is I'm going to finish building up the chassis, then build up the cab, and put all the chrome on it, and it'll pretty well be done. Okay, now we're back to doing some construction on the frame. I got the engine mounted in. I got the radiator on. The front wheels are attached. I got one of the rear wheels attached. I'm fixing to attach the other wheels. Notice that I painted the wheels. I stripped the chrome off the wheels and painted the wheels as popsicle orange, just like I did the cab. The cab is turned out really good. It looks, the orange paint looks, in my opinion, looks really good on it. It's nice and glossy. Looks really good. I didn't use hobby paint on this. I used Krylon Fusion paint. I think it went on really well. It looks good. I don't even think I need to put any clear coat on it. It's so glossy. It's just super glossy. And the same thing on the cab. So in this particular case, the Krylon paint worked really well. So my next thing after I get the wheels on, I'm going to be attaching the mud flaps, the front ones and the rear ones, and then I'll be, here's the cockpit, got the seats, the steering wheel, still got to put the gear shifter in it, and then I got the side pipes put together, and this is all the little chrome pieces that I'll be working on to put on the cab. So the next thing after I get the wheels on, the mud flaps on, is I'll start working on the cab. I'm trying to decide if I should go ahead and put the decals on at this point. You know, I think at this point it might be easier to put the decals on it. I still got to make up my mind if I'm going to use the decals that come with the kit. Here's the decals that came with it. I know I'm going to use the American flag. I'm going to put it on the back of the cab. I think that'll look good. And then these going to go on the side. So I'm going to try to do it those, but sometimes the decals are a little difficult to do. So we'll just see how that works out. Okay, and then these are going to go. Let's see. I'm going to work a little bit out of sequence. It actually shows the putting the fenders, the mud flaps on after the cab is attached. So, yeah, I actually got to take this back off and then put these on and then put that on. Fortunately, I didn't glue this on. This is just snapped on, so I'm going to pop this back off. Okay, then now these will go on like this. I didn't snap this on good. Let me get it snapped on. So that's going to go on there like this. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on that. Even though it don't have to have any glue. Okay. And now we're gonna snap the other little thing on. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Okay. Sure got. Okay, I got the chassis completed. The rear mud flaps, the front mud flaps, the fifth wheel, this diamond plate here. All the wheels are on. I think they look pretty good. The engine's in, the radiator's on. Now I'm working on the cab. I got the front grille on and the blinkers. Still got to put the headlights in. And I'm working on the cab. I got the mirrors on, these pipes and these bars here. I got the American flag decal on the back. I'm not going to put these on it because that red does not go well with the orange. I done held it up there and looked and it don't go well with the orange. So I probably should have painted a different color if I was going to use these. So I'm just going to put the Peterbilt on the side of the doors, and I think that's going to be all the decal. Maybe put the put these on the front fenders, and that's probably going to be all the decals I put on it. The REVELL Peterbilt is complete. This popsicle orange, I think it turned out okay. Looks pretty good. I didn't do anything to distress it or try to make it look old or anything like that. So, anyway. But it's made to look more like a work truck than a show truck, you know. And that's about it. It's complete.